Many former NFL coaches find a way to stick around in the spotlight when their careers end.
Hi, I'm Jeff Fisher, and I am currently the commissioner of AF1.
So with that, let's dive into 10 former NFL coaches that you didn't know found another highly successful gig after their football careers ended. Mike Ditka. Ditka has the unique honor of being an NFL legend as both a player and head coach. He was a star tight end who played in the NFL from 1961 to 1972, earning 5 Pro Bowl nods and 2 first-team All-Pro selections. He led the Chicago Bears to the 1963 NFL Championship and helped the Dallas Cowboys to a Super Bowl VI championship in the 1971 season. Immediately after retiring, Ditka was hired as an assistant on Tom Landry's coaching staff. Ditka learned under the Landry coaching tree for 9 seasons before being named the head coach of the Bears in 1982. Iron Mike led the Bears to a Super Bowl XX championship in the 1985 season and boasted a .631 winning percentage as their head coach. And, well, let's just pretend his 3-year stint as a head coach of the New Orleans Saints just never happened. Since he was let go by New Orleans after the 1999 season, Ditka has found a wide range of prominent NFL media gigs. He spent 2 years on the NFL Today with CBS and has worked multiple programs for the network and ESPN, including NFL Live. Oh yeah, and maybe you've heard of his successful restaurant Ditka's Restaurants, which opened in 1997. The restaurant is renowned for its seafood dishes and award-winning steaks. Ditka also sells his own wine from California, including several high-quality Sauvignon Blanc types. Marv Levy. This proud Canton member coached football for nearly 5 decades, including the California Golden Bears and CFL's Montreal Alouettes, before subsequent head coaching gigs with the Kansas City Chiefs and Buffalo Bills. Of course, Levy is best known for his successful run as the Bills head coach that spanned from 1986 to 1997. Levy recorded a .615 winning percentage in Orchard Park and led the Bills to 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, ranging from 1990 to 93. The Bills lost all those games, but hey, that doesn't take away Levy's role in putting Buffalo on the NFL map after years of irrelevance. Levy would later return to the organization to serve as their GM for the 2006 and 2007 seasons before finding non-football related success. In 2009, Levy and legendary Buffalo writer Jeffrey J. Miller published a book titled Game Changers: The Greatest Plays in Buffalo Bills Football History. Following the success of that book, Levy continued his life as a part-time author. In 2011, he published a football fiction book called Between the Lies. He would later publish 2 more books, the first being titled It's Time for a Rhyme in 2014, and the second, Go Cubs Go, in 2016. Jim Mora. Whether he likes it or not, Jim Mora will always be best remembered for his epic post-game rants, most notably playoffs and diddly poo. But you know, it's a shame because Mora should also be remembered for his phenomenal efforts in turning the New Orleans Saints and Indianapolis Colts into relevant winning teams. The man really does not get enough credit for making the Colts a juggernaut in the Peyton Manning era before Tony Dungy succeeded him. Mora has been out of the spotlight for the better part of the last 2 decades, but he did well for himself after being fired in 2002. Mora was hired for a role on NFL Total Access. He also worked 2 programs at Fox Sports, Game Time Saturday and Game Time Sunday. Also, just saying, Mora is available on Cameo if you ever want him to deliver a personal playoffs message. Dick Vermeil. Vermeil was head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles from 1976 to 82, leading the club to 4 playoff appearances and 1 Super Bowl trip. In a surprise, however, he retired from coaching in 1983 and became an NFL commentator. After a 15-year break, Vermeil returned to the sidelines in 1997 to become the head coach of the St. Louis Rams. Vermeil, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, and Torrey Holt headlined the greatest show on turf offense that led the Rams to a Super Bowl XXXIV championship in the 1999 season. In another stunner, Vermeil resigned after the Rams reached the mountaintop. Retirement was short-lived this time, as he came back to coach the Kansas City Chiefs in 2001 and held that role for 5 years. But since his permanent retirement from coaching, Vermeil has run his own successful winery, Vermeil Wines, located in Napa Valley, and he's won a number of awards and has a near-perfect rating of 4.6 stars on Google reviews. Jeff Fisher. You younger fans probably know Jeff Fisher as the former St. Louis/Los Angeles Rams coach and the whole, 7-9 jokes. Yeah, the Rams finished with 7 wins in 3 of Fisher's 5 seasons at the helm. And then, of course, there was the debacle in 2016. The Rams had signed Fisher to a contract extension in the midst of another disastrous season, only to fire him a week later. Rams went on to hire Sean McVay, and, well, the The rest is history, and we say that in a good way. After 5 years away from football, Fisher returned to coach the USFL's Michigan Panthers in 2022. He coached 1 year there before resigning and trying his hand in the executive world. In 2024, Fisher was announced as the commissioner of the newly formed Arena Football One League that kicked off in 2025. Additionally, Fisher is a chief advisor for the Nashville Cats of the AF1. Barry Switzer. Jerry Jones's decision to move on from Jimmy Johnson in 1994 remains widely scrutinized more than 3 decades later. But let's not forget that Switzer coached the Cowboys to a Super Bowl title in the 1995 season, their third in 4 years to cement dynasty status. Switzer, who also coached Oklahoma to 3 national championships, is just one of 3 coaches to reach the top in the NCAA and NFL. Switzer stepped away from coaching in 1998, but found multiple ways to keep himself busy outside of football. He appeared in the 1998 football comedy film Possums as a coach and in an episode of Saving Grace. Switzer also had a cameo appearance in Any Given Sunday and was briefly featured in Varsity Blues. But Switzer has mostly kept himself busy with a booming winery business that opened its doors in 2010. Jon Gruden. If you want to factor in both tenures of his post-coaching days, Chucky has done very well for himself. After 3 years as the Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator, Gruden was named the new Oakland Raiders head coach in 1998. When he was only 34, Gruden quickly brought new life into the franchise following a dismal 90s decade, leading them to the 2000 AFC Championship game and the 2001 Divisional Round game. He was then sent to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in a blockbuster trade, leading his new team to a blowout win, fittingly, over the Raiders in Super Bowl 37. Gruden was fired by the Bucs after the 2008 season, but didn't need to really bother putting out his resume. ESPN hired him to work in the Monday Night Football broadcast booth with Mike Tirico and later Sean McDonough. Gruden held that position through the 2017 season before signing a 10-year deal with the Raiders worth $100 million to return as head coach. Chucky, however, had to resign in the midst of the 2021 season following his well-documented email scandal that featured disturbing racial tropes, homophobic and sexist language, among other disturbing content. Well, 3 years out of the spotlight, Gruden returned in 2024 and launched his own football show on YouTube. In November, Barstool Sports signed Gruden to a multi-year contract, and he is now featured on shows such as Pardon My Take and The Yak.
Hank Stram. Stram was the first coach in the history of the Kansas City Chiefs franchise, dating back to 1960 when they started out as the Dallas Texans. Stram coached the Texans/Chiefs organization through 1974, leading them to 3 AFL championships and a stunning upset win over the Minnesota Vikings in Super Bowl IV. Chiefs owner Lamar Hunt made the difficult choice to fire Stram after the 1974 season. After a 1-year hiatus, Stram was hired to coach the New Orleans Saints. He lasted just 2 seasons and was let go after compiling a 7-21 record. Stram became a color commentator for CBS's NFL coverage and worked with other legendary announcers like Vince Scully, Jack Burke, Kirk Gowdy, and Jim Nantz. For 18 years, Stram and Buck worked the CBS Monday Night Football radio broadcasts. Talk to any old-timer football fan, and Stram will be one of the first NFL commentators that they can recall. His sharp analysis and colorful personality made him a pioneer in NFL broadcasts in an era way before social media, the internet, and live streaming services. Joe Gibbs. The Hall of Famer coached Washington in 2 different stints. First from 1981 to 92 and from 2004 to 2007. Gibbs, of course, was the architect who built Washington into a dynasty with 3 Super Bowl championships. In between Gibbs' 2 Washington stints, however, he also became an icon in the world of auto racing. Yeah, that's right. Gibbs and his sons founded the Joe Gibbs Racing Company that competes in the NASCAR Cup and NASCAR Xfinity Series. Gibbs' racing team has won 5 NASCAR Cup Series championships, with Bobby Labonte claiming the first title in 2000. In 2011, Gibbs wrote a book called Game Plan for Life, Your Personal Playbook for Success, which was released in 2011. It's a sort of self-help book and includes a foreword from fellow Hall of Fame coach Tony Dungy. Hey, just saying, who better to help motivate you than a Super Bowl winning head coach? It's a pretty good angle. Don Shula. The NFL's all-time winningest coach led the Miami Dolphins to 2 Super Bowl championships, including the only perfect season in 1972. Shula coached the Dolphins from 1970 to 95, but hardly retired from work when his time on the sidelines ended. 1989, he founded Shula's Restaurant Group and built a successful restaurant empire, with most of the locations based in Florida. These restaurants include Shula's Steakhouse, 347 Grill, and Shula's Bar and Grill. Shula also did business with Nutrisystem to help promote diets for senior citizens
citizens and worked with the government to expand the Medicare Part D prescription plan. Shula, who studied at John Carroll University in University Heights, Ohio, also started the Don Shula Chair in Philosophy in order to expand the programming of the school's Department of Philosophy. Yeah, Shula has definitely worn many hats, and his success stretches far beyond the gridiron. But hey, which other NFL coaches found success after their career? Was there any notable names that we may have missed? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.